Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, June 4th. I have a long MetCon today for you. If you're hitting this from home, ignore any, I don't know what my camera's going to pick up in the background here, but ignore any crap that is laying around. We're finishing up a bathroom renovation, which my wife promises me is the last project that we're going to be doing for quite some time. We've done literally everything during this quarantine period, so uh, I've had just about enough. But anyway, we have a long MetCon today. It's 20 minutes long, and it's going to be ran in 2 minute intervals. We're going to have basically two different types of exercises, or actually two different exercises per 2 minute clock. And you're going to have some odd and even rounds mixed in where we just mix things up every odd or even round. So what the workout is, every 2 minutes for 20 minutes, we are doing the following. Odd rounds, you are doing, if you have a barbell at home with you, you're doing 12 power snatches. If you have a dumbbell, we're going 20 alternating dumbbell snatches. However long it takes you to do that in that 2 minute period, the remaining time in that 2 minute clock, you are going to do max number of sit-ups in the remaining time. Okay? So let's say you have 12 power snatches, that takes you 1 minute. You then have 1 minute to do sit-ups in the remaining time in that 2 minute clock. So hopefully that's pretty easy to understand. Even rounds. So after that first 2 minute clock, we go into round two, even rounds. So we alternate back and forth. We're going with 15 overhead squats with the same weight on the barbell if you have a barbell at home. And then max overhead lunges in remaining time. If you have, a big long driveway or just a big space where you can walk with those lunges, great. If you don't, they're just going to be in place in your basement or wherever you are. So that overhead lunge is just going to be held out in a locked out position. You may need to narrow your grip a little bit more rather than the wide snatch grip that you have for your overhead squats. So you might want to reset before you start your max set of those. But that's what we're looking for with the barbell. If you do not have a barbell at home, instead of doing 15 overhead squats, we're going to substitute 20 single arm overhead squats. So it'll be 10 on the right, 10 on the left, switch as you need to, but we need a total of 20. And then from there, we're also going to do overhead lunges as well with the dumbbell. It'll be one arm at a time. And again, you can either walk, you can go in place, whatever works best for you. But we're going to go 8 with one arm up. So let's say we start with the right with those lunges. We're going to go 8 lunges with the right arm up, 8 lunges with the left arm up, and just alternate back and forth on your arms every 8 reps. So that'll be a step with your right foot, 1 rep, step with your left foot, 2 rep, back and forth, back and forth. So that's what we have. Odd and even rounds for 20 minutes every 2 minutes. So the odd rounds you will hit 5 times, and the even rounds you will also hit 5 times. I'm going to cut it here just so we can talk some tips, pacing, and what I'm looking for as far as weights, because I don't believe Daniel has any recommended weights today. I'm going to give you my 2 cents on what I'd be looking for, and then we can start this warm-up. All right, so more so tips rather than pacing, and maybe some weight suggestions too for you today. Odd rounds, okay? We've got 12 power snatches. Let's talk barbell first. I don't think Daniel has any weights written down today, so I'm going to go ahead and assign them for you, or just give you a ballpark of what I would want you to live in, because I want these to be touch and go reps. There shouldn't be singles at any point during this workout. So I would recommend for fitness today, 75-55, performance open, 95-65, open. If you want to push it to like a 115-75, I wouldn't go anything past 115-75. So play around with that. I do want touch and go reps there though, for, a couple sets. I'm not saying it's got to be 12 touch and go unbroken the whole way, and I wouldn't expect you to. But again, I would not be taking this past a 115.75 today. because you also have to use that weight for your overhead squats once we get into the even rounds as well. And if we bite off a little bit more than we can chew with the weights that we're choosing for the barbell today, those two movements, like max sit-ups in remaining time and max overhead lunges in remaining time, as we get to the end of the workout, you might not even get any, and that's not what I want. So that's barbell weights. Dumbbell, you're only working with one at a time. So again, we'll try to stick with standard weights there today. Fitness 35-25, it's just one of them, and then performance open. We'll go even playing field there at 50-35. Of course, if you need to take your dumbbell down, if you got something a little lighter at home that you want to use for single arm overhead squats with a dumbbell and single arm overhead lunges with the dumbbell, that's fine. But of course, I'd like to see you try to do your best to stay in that locked out position and work on those movements. They are a little funky, but they are going to expose a lot of weaknesses in your body. So that's what I'm looking for as far as weights go. Again, make sure that we're going touch and go with power snatches with a barbell. Dumbbell reps, they should be done unbroken pretty much from start to finish. I don't see any reason why you would need to stop there. Pretty easy place to catch your breath. Even rounds, 15 overhead squats. I don't really want those done in any more than like 2 sets, maybe like an 8-7. That would be great. And then in the remaining time, we've got those max overhead lunges with the barbell. Walk around, do them in place, whatever works for you there. Just survive the rest of that minute, honestly. Or the rest of that 2-minute clock, honestly. And then for dumbbell, of course, you've got 20 single arm overhead squats, so it's 10 on one arm, 10 on the other. Split those up as you need to. I would recommend maybe going a 5-5, 5-5, just to chip away at those. But once we get into the overhead lunges, just remember, right arm is going to be extended to start for 8 lunges, and then we're going to switch, going 8 lunges on the left arm before you can switch back to the right. So hopefully that makes pretty good sense. Those are the weights that I'd want you to be shooting for today. We're going to start this warm-up and get into this long 20-minute workout today, this 20-minute MetCon. It's all we got today. Okay, first part of the warm-up is going to be Tabata style. So it'll be 8 rounds of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. We are going to have 4 separate stations, which means we are going through each of them twice for a total of 8 rounds. So 4 separate stations. First one, air squats. Nothing else needed. We're just going to air squat for 20 seconds, rest for 10 seconds. When we get into the second station, if you are using a dumbbell today, I'd like to see you just do some dumbbell deadlifts. Just hold at one head of the dumbbell, hinge forward, stand back up. We're going to do dumbbell deadlifts for 20 seconds. If you have a barbell today, I'd like to see that station be good mornings for you. So get that barbell to your back, hinge forward, light up those hamstrings, get them ready to roll. Third station is just going to be body weight lunges. I know you did a lot of them yesterday, but we got a lot of them again today. So just wake up the legs and get moving around. We got lunges just in place, no equipment. That's the third station. Fourth station, if you are using dumbbells today, I would recommend something, a little bit lighter, going single arm push press up overhead. I'd say maybe let's hit 4 or 5 on one arm, 4 or 5 on the other, switch back and forth until that 20-second clock runs out. If you have a barbell today, I'd like you to take that thing to your back and give me some behind the neck push presses with that barbell. So it's resting on your back, wide snatch grip, we'll dip, drive up overhead, and then back down to the shoulder. So those are the stations. Air squats, number 1. Deadlifts are good mornings, number 2. Body weight lunges, number 3. And then number 4, either behind the neck push press or with a dumbbell, we'll just go single arm push presses. 8 total rounds, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest before you move into the next station. Go ahead and set a clock for yourself and get it going. Okay, stretching to get things going here right after that brief warm up. If you need to take some more time to run around and get a little sweaty, that's fine. I know it's really hot outside this week, so it probably shouldn't take you all that long to get a sweat going. But a couple stretches that we're going to do into your upper body first. We're going to go down into a child's pose on the floor. If you have like a box or ottoman or something, or I don't know, maybe a ledge out in your driveway where you're working out at. I want you to try to send your hands out really wide and press that head, that chest down in, those armpits down into the floor, almost like we're kind of stretching out in that Superman position, that snatch position. You're going to take yourself down like you're in a child's pose, but just take your arms out a little bit wider than you normally would. I want you to hold that for me for about 20 seconds. After that, we're going to lay ourselves down on the ground and we're going to thread the needle. Okay, so basically just laying down on your arm, almost like one of these stretches whenever you're just sitting back on your heels or standing up. I want that to be on the ground. We'll go 20 seconds on the right, laying down on it, 20 seconds on the left, laying down on it. While you're down on your chest, your stomach, we're going to finish off just being down on the floor here with a chest opener stretch. You'll take your right arm out flat beside you, kick your left leg around the back to stretch out the inside part of your chest and your shoulder. 20 seconds to the right, and then we'll go 20 seconds to the left. So big child's pose stretch, thread the needle on each side, and then we're going to do a chest opener stretch on each side as well. Go ahead. Once we're up off the floor, we're going to be standing up now. I want you to give me 10 shoulder rolls going back, and then 10 shoulder rolls going forward. When those shoulder rolls are done, I want the same thing with arm circles. 10 going forward, 10 going backward, and then we're going to finish with some wrist stretches. Just taking your hand right out in front of you, peeling your fingers back. Take maybe about 20 seconds on the right, 20 seconds on the left, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the stretching, the warm up, and we'll get into your lower body. Okay, now into your lower body. We are going to start in a high plank position, just like the top of a push-up. You're going to give me 10 Spider-Man lunges. So we'll lunge forward, driving that front knee out to really open up your hip and your groin on the inside. And then back to that high plank position. That would be 1 rep. Switch legs to the other side. Total of 5 on each leg, so we're looking for 10 of them. When those 10 Spider-Man lunges are done, you're going to give me 5 bootstraps. So basically what a bootstrap is, I know you've done it before, maybe you just don't know the name of it. You're basically going to be sitting yourself down in a deep sumo squat, like ass to grass as far as you can sit down. You're going to put your hands right on your feet or underneath your toes. From that position, you're slowly going to drive your hips up, so we're kind of bent forward into a hamstring stretch. Hold that for a second, and then come back down, retracing the steps you just took, sinking your hips back down to a deep squat, and again, just kind of driving your knees out back and forth. So after those 10 Spider-Man lunges, I want 5 bootstraps. When those bootstraps are done, I want you to take maybe about a minute on each leg at the bottom of that squat to stretch out your ankles and get them woken up, because you're going to be doing a lot of squatting today, a lot of lunging, a lot of just having to get up on your toes to snatch that barbell up overhead if you're using a bar today. So I want those to be nice and loose. What I mean by stretching out your ankles, I want you to basically sit in a deep squat, and if you have some type of heavy dumbbell or kettlebell that you can use to put on top of your knee as well, that's great to just increase the stretch. But what I'm looking for is for you to spend maybe about 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other, and do that like 2 times through. You're going to sit down in a deep squat, drive your knee out over your toe while still trying to keep your heel in contact with the ground so we can stretch into those ankles, the Achilles, and even a little bit into your calves as well. So spend about a minute on each side there, getting that nice and alive. And once we cut here, we're going to talk about the workout one last time, and then I'm going to let you go hit it before we dive into a cool down afterward. All right, so it's time to work out. Again, the MetCon, every 2 minutes for 20 minutes, so a total of 10 rounds. Odd rounds, we are doing 12 power snatches if you have a barbell. We're doing 20 alternating dumbbell snatches if you have a dumbbell at home. And in the remaining time, in that 2-minute clock that you have left after you hit whatever number of snatches you need to hit, we've got max sit-ups in remaining time. So if you've got an ab mat at home, great. If not, just make sure you put down some sort of yoga mat so you're not, chafing up all over the place. So those are the odd rounds. When that 2-minute period is over, we move on to an even round, which is going to change things up. 15 overhead squats, same weight that you used on the barbell on the first piece if you have a barbell. And then in the remaining time, we're doing max overhead lunges with that barbell pressed up over your head. Dumbbells, if you do not have a barbell at home, you will not be doing 15 overhead squats. You're going to be doing 20 instead, and it's going to be with one single arm. So one dumbbell locked out overhead, 10 reps on one arm, 10 reps on the other. I don't care how you split that up, but you need to hit 10 with one arm extended, 10 with the other arm extended before we move on. In the remaining time in your 2-minute clock after your 20 single arm overhead squats, you have max overhead lunges as well. Only thing is, right arm is going to be holding that dumbbell in a locked out position for 8 reps with your legs with that right arm extended. And after that 8th rep, you can switch and do 8 reps on the left. And we'll continue to switch back and forth until that time runs out. Odd rounds on odd rounds, even rounds on even rounds. So that is what we are. That is what we're in for. So take the next 20 minutes. Make sure that you're nice and warmed up with your barbell. I know the weights are going to be, on the lighter end today, but make sure that you're taking your time doing your progressions with your barbell, with your overhead squats. And it doesn't matter if you have a barbell or a dumbbell. We should be doing the exact same type of progressions. And I know you guys are old enough to understand the importance of that and that we should be doing it. So I'll give you the time to go ahead and hit that. We'll come back. I'll give some instructions for a quick cool down, and we'll go. Good luck. All right, back for the cool down. Going to be 3 quick stretches, as always, so that we can get the heck on with our Thursday. So first thing, you're going to lay yourself down on the ground. Back is going to be on the ground. And as you're laying out, just in a completely flat position, laying on your back, I want you to pull your right knee up into your chest and then kick it across your body. So you should feel a big stretch into your lower back. I know my lower back always cracks real nice when I do this. But also going to feel a nice pull on the outer side of your hip and your butt cheek. So it should give you some nice relief after all that lunging. Maybe even crack your back. That'd feel nice. So I want you to spend about 30 seconds on the right, 30 seconds on the left, doing the exact same thing. When you are done, that stretch on both sides of your body, I want you to sit up into just a seated position with your legs out in front of you. You're going to hinge forward and try to touch your toes with your hands. I want you to spend about a minute in that stretch, again, hitting your lower back and your hamstrings. Just hang out. When that is done, we're going to come up to kneeling. You are going to lunge real far out with your right leg and extend your back leg, trying to reach the wall behind you. Just imagine there's a wall behind you that you're trying to poke and touch with your left toe or left big toe. We're going to really focus on stretching out your hip flexor on the back side. So as you lunge out in front and you sit tall on that lead leg, really push that other leg back so we can stretch out that hip flexor on the leg that is behind you. I want you to spend maybe about a minute on your right or your left, and then I want you to spend another minute on the other side once you are done the previous one. So we've got those stretches on the ground, 30 seconds each leg where we're pulling our leg across. So 30 seconds each leg there, into a seated hamstring stretch out in front, and then finally into your hip flexor stretch on both sides, which will spend about a minute on each leg there. Once you are done there with the cool down, we are done for Thursday, June 4th. Hope you're having a great week. Hope your legs aren't falling off after yesterday and today. But I'm sure we'll be back with some more squatting tomorrow. Who knows? See you then.